Hello and welcome to another episode of Never a Straight Answer, the podcast that aims to cover a wide range of topics from conspiracy theories to popular culture and news. I'm your host Gaz, and joined in the studio, as always, we've got the Astro Travelling Taylor.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas indeed. It's almost Christmas. And if you've been listening to the Never a Straight Answer Christmas conspiracy calendar, which I start to say that you have.
Yes.
Yeah. And I hope you've been enjoying it. And we've been trying to bring you a little bit of something different over the Christmas period.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes it's Christmas related, quite a lot of the time, in fact.
Sometimes it's conspiracy.
Sometimes it's a Christmassy conspiracy.
Yeah.
So if you've not listened to any and you thought, what's that? Yeah, give it a download. It's only a little. Yeah. It's only about 6 minutes.
Yeah,
something to stick on when you're washing the pots, I suppose, isn't it?
That's
or something.
True.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or doing one of those mundane tasks.
Yeah.
That you've got.
Yeah.
Well,
Ubering and shit.
How are you, mate? Anyway, you've had a good week.
Yeah. Fucking mint, mate.
Mint.
You
won the lottery, have we?
No, but it couldn't be any better because you never guess who won the election.
Oh yeah,
of course
right. It's Mr. Boris, isn't it?
Yeah. Trump's son.
Fucking straight away, Trump was on the old congratulatory tweeting.
Good lad.
Yeah, he's like giving Trump, giving Boris.
Welcome to the new king.
The king. Do you know, giving him a big head. Just chill, man, because he's like, the thing is, I kind of liked Boris Johnson when he was the not the prime minister, when he was the mayor of London.
Yeah.
Right? Kind of really liked him. Yeah. I think since he's become the prime minister, he's a bit kind of I don't know. I like some of his stuff. Yeah, what he's suggesting.
Come on.
A bit
Tell
arrogant.
me you don't like him, though.
No, not that I don't like him. I think since he's become prime minister, especially since he's been landslide victory.
Yeah.
The last couple of days I'm talking about, especially, it's a bit pompous. Do you know what I mean? And I kind of like the guy, but he's a
on
bit
cloud nine.
Of course he is, and I can't fault him for that. But I mean, it's like, come on, just chill out a bit. There is a bit, there is a bit of something to be said about kind of being, what's the word? A bit more kind of. Right, okay, I won. So what? Right, let's get the job done.
Have
a bit more dignified. Yeah, be a bit more dignified with it. Just kind of don't even just if you were that confident that you were going to win the election anyway, then you should have just been like, right, well, no skin off my nose. Let's get back to work.
Yeah, but the last time the Conservatives won like this, it was in the 80s. You know what I mean? So it was like Labour lost 4 times in a row now.
Well, yeah, I know. Well, to be fair, it was like I did sit up and watch it. To be honest,
I watched it till 6:30 in the morning.
I didn't stay up that late, but it was becoming apparent by the time I went to sleep that it was going to be a Conservative win. To be honest, it was like them, especially when what they called the wall of Labour across the UK.
Yeah,
especially
like
in the north, it was starting to show big cracks, and people were kind of obviously voting Conservative.
Place in Manchester
Lee and Manchester. Yeah, exactly. That went from being a Labour.
Yeah, they'd never been anywhere else but Labour. And
there was a lot of. In fact, what was that mining town? There was a mining town in Wales that under that Conservative rule, a lot of them. Lost a lot of work and kind of ruined a lot of lives. And
it's about time we needed a clear out because a lot of them were.
You can't judge modern day party on the past, because obviously it's like you learn these lessons and hopefully those don't get repeated. But it's just one of those. I think it was a case of that. It was Boris has kind of already got all this stuff in place, and I think the idea of Brexit for another 10 years is kind of like, just let him do it. Just get him do it. And I think the idea that Corbyn wasn't very well liked either, Jeremy Corbyn. I think he
press the button. What an arsehole.
I think he kind of come up with, and then this year, or this campaign especially, in my eyes, it seems to. I mean, there's a lot. From what I gather in the States, they go on the campaign trail, and there's a lot of kind of smear campaigning. Trying to public service announcements.
Yeah,
I've seen. Have you seen that film, The Campaign, with Will Ferrell? And they do
a long time ago. I can't remember much about it.
It's like they're talking about they're running for a Senate or something, or being a what are they called now? A governor of the state or whatever.
Yeah.
Will Ferrell's been running unopposed for however many years.
Okay.
But then somebody challenges him, so there's this big campaign, smear campaign starts kicking up, tit for tat.
Yeah.
And It's like starts putting out like public service announcement adverts, like basically saying twisting truths and stuff.
Do you
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I noticed a lot of stuff like that this year.
Oh yeah, there's been a hell of a lot this year.
Every other advert on YouTube's been something like that. From the Labour perspective, they've been saying the enemy within with Margaret Thatcher, and it's a bit like
instead of the enemy without, he was going to spend all our money and put it back into debt. Why don't you
spend that money on fucking trying to make the other party look bad on telling us what you're planning on doing and changing, rather than just trying to make the other person look a dickhead.
And they were targeting 14-year-olds, and that they were putting one advert out to them, and then putting like 40-year-old men.
I wouldn't be surprised. Targeted advertising, isn't it?
It's been proven. They've been
that costs
loads
money.
Of targeting.
That costs a lot of money to do. Yeah. So I mean, at the end of the day, it's like just use that money to kind of if you're going to use it for advertising to try and persuade me to vote for you, then tell me what you're going to use your time in office for. Do you know what I mean?
That's what the manifest.
My manifesto.
But manifests are really just lies. We might do this. We might do that. We need what Farage did, which was the Brexit Party, which have a contract with the people.
That Brexit Party didn't get fuck all.
They did all right actually, but they won fuck all.
They did all right. That's the total definition of not being all right. They got fuck all, no seats, seeing a bit.
But they were only there. They've only been here for about 9 months.
I don't think. Well, this is the problem.
Not bad for the first time.
Well, but that's a lot of money to invest into something that you're not going to see any return on. Do you think
Greens only
next
won
year that they'll be able to kind of keep going? I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
Oh well, it depends. Now, Brexit Party will all now depend on Boris. If Boris fucks this up, then Brexit Party will stay.
Right,
if he doesn't, then it goes the way we all hope it does, and leave and have our sovereignty.
Well, not all
and
of
everything.
us, but it's all a case of the
majority.
Yeah. We can't say that everybody agrees
that's
with
true.
this. And there was a lot of people tactically voting to try and influence a vote of kind of a Remainer sort of government.
Didn't work. It
didn't kind of work. So levels, I think this is it though. It's not like you're playing a game like Big Brother or Coach Trip where you can tactically vote to try and. I mean, if you do it, then it's just you're voting for the wrong party. Do you know what I mean? But it's like it only works if a fucking majority of people do it.
Yeah.
So it's like I think I've spoke about spoiling your ballot before now. If you were unsure about who you wanted to vote for, tick every box. Yeah, because at least then your vote isn't counted towards a majority. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know you can write on them?
Oh, I know.
You can, each one, you can put your opinion on each one. As long as you don't put anything in the box apart from the cross, you can write anything along it and it's got to go through.
Just put tit.
Yeah, you can. You can actually put, these are a bunch of wankers.
What, the reason why? Yeah. I suppose no one's sitting there reading them, though, but I suppose it's like when it goes through the machine, if the cross is void and every box is ticked, then your vote isn't valid, so it doesn't go to a majority. It doesn't go. It's a void vote, so it's spoiled. So it kind of. I said this a few years ago when they were doing the when the hung parliament happened actually about spoiling your ballot.
Yeah.
And if you spoil it, then it sends a message that you don't want any of them really. And if everybody did it, but it only work if there was a big percentage of people doing it, but. It's the same in this instance if you wanted to tactically vote. Do you know what I mean? Anyway.
There's no one really good enough to vote out there, to be honest. I just want Brexit dealt with. As soon as that's dealt with, we can calm down and look after.
See what's going on. See what we need see what we need to do next.
Well, I think he's going to sell us out a little bit.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Well, it's going to be take a bit of time to get used to everything, isn't it?
It's not great, but it's good news.
Well, we've got a very interesting show tonight. It's pretty interesting because it's been inspired by a listener who contacted us and asked us. Well, we basically had a bit of a chat over email.
Thank you for the conversation.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So we'll get into that in a bit later on with more details.
We do listen to you.
Of course we do. Yeah. So if you ever, like I say, every time, I say it every week. If you've got an opinion or you want to tell us about something or a topic that we might be interested in, then get in touch. And tonight we're going to be talking about out-of-body experiences. So
we are.
Oh yeah, and the many varieties of and different sort of ways that it can kind of come on, as well as different stories and kind of and different philosophies and religions, I suppose, about it. Not only that, we're going to have our listeners' story as well. So look forward to that.
Listen out.
Oh, yeah. So other than that, we'll be moving on. We've got quite a lot to cover tonight. We've also got some coming up. We've got the main news. We've got some entertainment news and obviously NASA news as well. Before we crack on with the main topic. So, and we'll just do that. Here comes the news.
Let's do it, son.
It's the news. Oh, there you go. It's the news. It's the news. Got pure news to get through. Have you want to kick us off? Because you've got some good stories, haven't you?
I have. I've got good stories, mate.
Oh, well, we shall see, shall we not?
We shall.
Oui. Bonjour, mademoiselle. Even
Weinstein.
Not Harvey Weinstein.
Yes.
The Harvey Weinstein.
Yes.
Toucher of ladies and actresses and stuff.
Yes. Well, he's been to court.
It's not slander. It's been proven. Go on. Yeah, go on. What's cracking in with Weinstein?
Before any of the charges and that have gone through, I think there was a lawsuit.
Right.
And they've actually come to an agreement, which a lot of the ladies have signed.
Weinstein will give you 2 ladies a week.
Possibly
That's my limit.
Sign a £25 million pound payout, but 12 million of that's going to be to the solicitors.
Is that dollars?
Both sides.
$25 million.
Yeah,
I suppose.
On both sides.
Right. Okay.
And there's a lot of people are bothered about it because they want.
They want compensation too.
Well, yeah, it's not just about the compensation. I mean,
it's more than compensation, isn't it? They want fucking justice. It's like the fact is, it's like you can't not just because there's a compensation. Oh, you've paid him off.
No,
is
well,
what you say.
The problem is he isn't going to pay a single penny.
So where's it coming from?
His company's insurance.
No way. Yeah. So he'll just claim it back on an insurance then? Fucker.
Yeah.
Right, so how come he's not getting any sort of time for this? He's not been punished.
Exactly.
Nothing's come out of his personal bank account. No. Right? It's like you crash into someone's car. Yeah. It's like oh shit, my premiums might go up in the long run. Yeah. But it's like directly out of your pocket or your bank account. It's nothing. Yeah. It's one of those things. It's an inconvenience. But it's not a punishment, or it's definitely not a fucking pay. You're not paying for anything. Well, so that's pissed me off a little bit. So,
get this: 51 times in 2 months, he had tampered with his tag, and went off for hours and come back.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
And, there's no charge. He should be put in prison.
Yeah, did you not see Ant-Man 2? It was like I couldn't leave his house without the fucking SWAT coming through the door going, yeah, man. And I don't know if that's for like real life because I've never had a tag. Yeah. But I've seen plenty of the lads on the estate ad. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And I never saw SWAT going through the door. But, you know, I can imagine that you go off and it detects that you've gone off. They're not going to go out looking for you straight away, but they'll know. And then when it comes down to your sentencing or whatever, they'll go, or if you get caught out and about.
He ain't going to get sentenced down. You watch it.
That's what I'm saying. It's a piss take. It's like we'll pay you off. We'll give you some money, which I'm not paying for anyway. It's coming out of my insurance. Yeah. And then I don't get any jail time for it as well. And it's like, just basically says that if you're rich enough, you can get away with it.
So I'm going to go out and do it again. Watch it. Some more.
Well, is he allowed? How is he allowed to kind of be running that?
He's got money.
Running that fucking studio now, though. You know what I mean?
I don't think he is. I think it's a conglomerate in it. So there'll be a bunch of people who are running it because I think there was an argument that they didn't want the insurers to pay it, but then insurers was saying we're not going to pay it, and then
I wouldn't. If I was an insurance company, I'd say fuck that.
Well, they ain't asked as long as it don't come out of their money.
That's
really?
Because at the end of the day, an insurance company is coming out of their money because that's why they have insurance people to.
Yeah, but they got to follow certain rules.
These people, right, will find any loophole in a contract, right? Yeah, an insurance company, they pay lawyers to do that. Yeah, they don't fuck about. Their number one goal is to pay out as little as possible. Yeah. Right? They take premiums every week or month or whatever, but the point is they don't want to pay out millions of pounds. Yeah. Because that's the bet, isn't it? It's the bet. It's like the whole thing about insurance, it's a gamble. They're saying, okay, then you give us X amount of money, and if in the unlikely or likely situation that you get robbed or burgled, then we'll give you some money. We'll give you the money back. Yeah, if right. You can prove it. But they're hoping that you don't get burgled. Gets fucked. They're hoping that you don't get burgled and that you don't ever have to claim. Well, right? Because every month then you're paying a premium, right? Just in case that you get something happen, like you do crash your car or you do get your house burgled, right? But if that never happens to you in your lifetime, then you've paid it for nothing.
Just in case.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. They hire lawyers and solicitors or whatever, law people to fucking
fuck you.
To look through the loopholes in the law to be able to say, well, no, because you didn't follow this protocol or you didn't do this or you didn't do that or you've defaulted somewhere down the line, so unfortunately we can't pay you. Yeah. Right? Or it's like why they only say it's third-party fire and theft. Because if acts of God. Right, so if your car's hit by a fucking a meteorite or a volcano,
who made the person who made the piece that was on your car that actually got smashed?
A human, but that's an act of God as well. Yeah. So
then there's no insurance that works.
So insurance can turn around and say, well, within limits. Do you know what I mean? But like a meteorite hitting your car might potentially not be a valid payout.
No. I think that's bollocks because at the end of the day, you're paying for if something happens to your vehicle, they're willing to pay out.
But on all normal forms of accident.
Yeah.
So if you get crashed into, or you fucking a tree falls on your car,
there's too many people out
washed
there
away by flood. Yeah. Then, but even washed away by floods, like I mean, in England at the moment, there's a lot of flooding in like a lot of different places, and it's always kind of the same. You see the images on the news where cars are being fucking flooded. Yeah. Now, they can wash down the road. It's like a tsunami could wash your car down the road. Like, easy peasy, right? So, is that not an act of God? So, therefore, I'm not covered by my insurance. I've just lost my money, my car, and everything. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit rude. So, that's what it is. I think in fact, insurance companies should pay out on acts of God more so, because in those circumstances where there is a disaster, then these people often come away with it with absolutely fuck all. Yeah. So I think the insurance companies should be paying out for acts of God in cases where it's a natural disaster. That's just my opinion, but I think, in terms of like just covering it for, every day fucking branches falling or cars crashing into you, that it's not that much of an insurance. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm not assured that there's nothing going to happen. So yeah, well, I've got bits and pieces of news here. Where are we? So, So, Pablo Escobar's brother,
another one.
He's launched a smartphone, and he's vowing now to sue Apple.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's do you know what I mean? It's a
bit late there, mate.
What?
It's a bit late there.
Why?
Beatles did it first.
Who Apple?
Yeah.
Why did they really?
Because of the symbol.
Oh, of course he did. Yeah. Just because I always thought that because like it was Apple, wasn't it? Apple, as in the Beatles.
Yeah. The was it the record?
Label? It wasn't. It was sort of creative project, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it was like
it won. So
yeah, but who did the Beatles?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not surprised it's the Beatles.
Yeah, man.
Well, Pablo Escobar's brothers launched this unbreakable gold smartphone and vows to sue Apple. So he's called Roberto Escobar, and he claims that the $349 or £265 smartphone, which allows users to fold it into a flat tablet, and it's unbreakable.
Oh yeah, I've seen. Yeah.
So it's called the Fold 1. So he's the reason why he's suing. So yeah, you can fold it up into your pocket, so it's basically got a flexible screen.
Yeah, it looks like a wallet, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah. So he's basically saying that Apple have stole his idea.
So, well,
he said he's
prove it.
determined to take on major tech giant, and it is a bold. Basically, it's going to be a big sort of statement beating Apple.
Destroy Apple. I don't like them.
Well, Apple's got a dominance, do you know what I mean?
That's why I don't like
in the smartphone market.
Sneaky little bastards.
So, yeah. So, I mean, it looks pretty funky phone.
Yeah, I'd get one.
Yeah, you can
if it didn't have Apple on it, I'd get that.
Well, no, that's Pablo's phone. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not an Apple phone, that. But like I say, I think Apple's been trying to pinch his idea. Have a look. It's called the Escobar Fold 1.
Oh, that's mint.
But you can literally fold the phone in half, and the screen doesn't break. It's supposed to be indestructible and all sorts.
And the screen's on the outside as well.
What do you mean?
It's on the outside, it's not on the inside.
Oh,
like
when you
wallet.
fold it? Yeah. Oh, yeah, so it's kind of like a wallet, isn't it?
Yeah.
I wonder if it's got little card holders in the back.
Yeah.
There you go, Pablo. You can, or Roberto.
Yeah.
You can have that one. Stick a couple of card holders in the back there, and then you've got a wallet.
Yeah.
So, I got this other story as well, right? Have you seen this stupid art project that's gone on? It's called Banana Duct Tape to a Wall.
Oh, it's not a banana duct tape to a wall, is it?
It is indeed a banana duct tape to a wall, right? And it's an installation, and it's sold for $120,000 in Miami.
Where's the fruit bowl?
Fucking joke, because the banana has to be replaced every couple of days.
Yeah,
because it'll go off. So basically, are you basically buying...
the tape would have to go as well, because it's got the stickiness after a while.
We all know what tape's like.
Yeah.
The stickiness definitely goes after a while. It's gaffer tape, and if it's Gorilla Tape...
then you ain't getting off the fucking wall.
I'm not being funny, but the fact that it's a banana duct tape to a wall is a bit of a joke.
Who's the dumbass who bought it for 120k though? You know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck?
Well, 2 editions have been sold by Italian artist.
2 editions?
Yeah. What's this?
Oh,
Marizuno Calatini.
I got a strawberry on a shelf.
With the piece, he's got a 3rd edition reportedly raising over $150,000.
Oh shit!
So it's a banana duct tape to a piece of wall, just to a wall.
This proves
the banana duct tape to a wall has been sold for $120,000 and $91,000. So that's the 2 that he's sold already.
Fucking hell.
It's fucking stupid, isn't it?
That's how you can prove now that there are a lot of mugs out there.
I think bananas are a bit of an odd one, aren't they? Because they always show up in kind of art, like in terms of modern art. I mean, I know they're a bright, funny shaped fruit, but it's like...
Yeah, but so strawberries are
Exactly. That's what I mean. It's like... I just don't get how you can claim that to be art. I mean, if I tried to sell a banana tape to a wall as art, they'd just go, shut the fuck up, Gaz.
Yeah.
Shut up, Gaz. In that case, man, I've got loads of stuff I can sell a tape to walls.
I'm thinking
stuff
about
that you
doing
can't
it, to be
even
honest.
expect. Yeah. Can I just go to a museum and say, look, this is my upcoming...
Saves working.
Well, do it, mate.
You know what I mean?
Seriously, become an artist. That's basically what we're saying. If you can become an artist... and people will also buy into anything.
Go and throw shit on a canvas.
I'd say I'm a struggling artist. Not struggling, but like an artist. Yeah, right.
Piss artist,
Piss artist. Not con artist, but like fucking... Anyway.
Go on, you artist.
But no one's ever offered me 120 grand for anything. Do you know what I mean?
Show me some art.
Never mind a fucking banana sellotape to a wall.
Show me your art.
Maybe that's where I'm going wrong. I'm using sellotape.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. You fucked up there.
Fucking blue. I was thinking about blue tack because then, boys.
Yeah, but well, that's a stayer, isn't it? Really?
I don't know. I don't
You're
think
buying the blue tack for 120k instead of the item that's onto it.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because the banana needs replacing.
Put a little berry on a bit of blue tack and put it against the wall.
I think we've talked about this way too long, way longer than we should.
I do, but I think I'm going to become an artist now.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think you should. I want to see some of your art. We'll put it on the website when he what's it?
When I start my development, I'll get into a high first. before I start it. So I can get imagination going.
Yeah, do it, man. You can get some fruit.
Fuck, for 120k.
What you need to do is pop down the greengrocers and see if you can get that imagination going.
Yeah, I think I can. Yeah.
If you're going to try and get that. Right, okay, right, moving on. Have you got anything any more news you want to talk about? Normal news, and before we go into...
little incident gone on in Somerset last week.
What happened? What happened down in Somerset?
Swallows, 225
I
of
heard
them.
she spits.
No, not this one, she loves a swallow. 225 swallows were found dead on the floor.
What, just fell out the sky?
Yeah, basically, yeah. The field next to it, there was only a couple, and the other side, the field, there was nothing. But the weird thing that's going on is it happened in the same place 12 years earlier.
Really?
Yeah.
That's mental.
Yeah.
I always hear about these things where
there's been a lot of them.
mass deaths of animals.
And in a small
group.
Just
kind of, exactly. Like I've seen
group.
like horses and fucking cows.
Yeah, cows.
Birds falling out the sky.
Yeah, even
in
fish
fact,
and dolphins.
Yeah, well, there's actually been loads of reported cases of like fish and stuff and snakes raining down on people.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But I think we're going to go into that another day because there's a whole fucking topic in that.
Book full. Yeah.
But I think like in terms of like animals just kind of dying, there's got to be a reason for it. There's not that's they've been poisoned or they've been hit by really harsh weather.
Can't be poisoned, because if they were poisoned, they would be all over the area, big mass area.
Well, no, because they could have just
small.
No, it depends, because like birds all travel in fucking swalls or whatever they're called.
Yeah, but some are going to eat more than others.
No, but what I'm saying is if they fly through a cloud of noxious chemicals or gas, right, and then there's a swirl of fucking starlings or whatever they are, and they go through that gas or through that noxious cloud, and then they just dead. Fucking drop dead, all of them. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. There's got to be a reason for it.
Well, autopsies up to now state that there was nothing wrong with the birds.
Really?
At first they thought it could have been, like a heart attack or something, like, lightning hitting the ground.
Well, again, that could be another reason, yeah.
Well, that's been ruled out as well.
Has it? So what are they saying it was the official reason for it?
I don't know, but I'm thinking because of incidents that have happened the same, especially with birds in a small location, that it's going to end up that the necks are broke. Okay. So then that means they've hit something, a hard surface, but there was no helicopters or planes or any kind of vehicle in the sky. And on the ground, why are they all going to be on the ground in one little area, and they were in the bushes and stuff like that? So that doesn't answer that one either.
Yeah, fair enough.
You know what I mean? But
bless them.
There's
poor
been
little birds.
Some arguments that is it to do with aliens, UFO, invisible UFOs.
Well, we'll be going into a bit of NASA news in a moment.
Yeah.
I've got one more story. It's a Christmas story. Before we move on. A grandfather has created a larger-than-life Christmas attraction at his home, which he has basically welcomed a stream of visitors across the UK. So he's turned his house into a Santa's grotto.
Sweet.
Yeah, man. He spent absolutely about 3 months transforming his house. Stanley Yanetta from South Shields started out with just a few lights in his for his grandchildren. But each year his display gets bigger and bigger.
Good lad.
So at the moment it is like a full-on Christmas attraction going on at his house.
Well done,
the 58-year-old, who's known for his eccentric garden, has no idea how many decorations and lights he's got up. But he says it took him 3 days to sort it all out, and and sort out the plug sockets alone. So he spent the last 3 weeks creating a festive exhibit, which he thinks has cost him around £15 a day to run.
Yeah.
And he runs it from 4 p.m. till 7 p.m. right up until Christmas.
Yeah.
Stan says everyone on the road is over the moon about it, adding nothing else is basically ever happened around the area. And now the kids have got somewhere to come and see Santa.
Good man.
So yeah, he's put it on all himself. So well done to you, man.
Yeah, man.
Good on you, Stan, and Merry Christmas from us. I thought it was a really nice story, but like he's gone out of his way, and I think there's some of this sort of stuff in America where for Halloween people make their own, turn the houses into kind of scare houses and grottos and stuff. Man. And I think obviously there's a big trend for decorating your houses in America.
Oh, yeah.
But we don't get it over here. We've literally only just started to kind of come into this sort of extreme decoration.
I think we've been doing it the last 20 years.
Yeah, but I think there's a case of that some people go overboard and it just looks really tacky. Yeah, now, I think it can be done really well if you can get a theme going or something. And what I really like, I've experimented in it myself, projection mapping.
Oh, yeah.
And I think there's some really good examples of people using projection mapping to get Christmassy sort of feel on the home.
Yeah.
Without, going overboard with lights and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's a really cool sort of effects you can achieve. So.
Oh yeah.
But then this guy, he's kind of just he's done it all for his grandkids as well. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to respect the guy for being a good granddad.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Doing it for the kids.
Reminds me of a story I was told before, actually, from my brother.
Go on.
He goes, there was this old man living in the house on his own. He never used to come out, and he'd never put decorations up and stuff like that. Yeah, he was like the old man in the corner.
Bit of a hermit.
Yeah.
They're a bar humbug.
Yeah. So then, I think it was this Christmas.
What, has he put some up?
No.
Might have had it, what?
30 students knocked on his door and...
give him a Christmas pudding.
Yeah, decorated his yard, and they all had fish and chips. And every day now, at least one of them goes round to see him, and
right, gives him a bit of Christmas cheer. That's well nice.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
See, there's some Christmas heroes out there. Nice one, people.
Yeah, man, it's good spirit.
That's what I'm saying. I've been trying to promote this good karma sort of thing. I think because podcasters as well. Yeah, we're doing it because we love doing it. Yeah. Right, but. We're not necessarily getting paid for it. We're doing it because we enjoy doing it. Well, we don't. I think we fucking made about 20 quid in the podcast name since we started. Yeah. So not even that bothers us. Yeah. So
it don't bother us.
I mean, it doesn't bother us. We still carry on doing it, right? Now, but if we can kind of get a listener following who listen to us, then don't you think it's kind of our responsibility to kind of try and get a good sort of ask people to do things that are good for everyone. Promoting good karma, paying things forward, and random acts of kindness.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, most definitely. So, whenever you can.
Yeah, so I've been saying on Twitter and stuff go and be nice, do something random today, and be
go and hug a midget.
Fucking.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Just go up to them and go, you know what,
especially,
you need
I mean, it doesn't have to be Christmas to go out and do these things, do you know what I mean? But it's there's a big problem with homeless at the minute as well.
Yeah.
And obviously, I mean, I'm indoors and I'm cold. It's cold winter.
It's gonna be freezing,
right. And obviously, if you've got a blanket or anything fucking spare, think of these people.
Or if you know somewhere they can stop for the night.
Exactly.
Anything.
If you can do anything to help them out, then it's all... appreciated.
Yeah.
So, there's my little kind of little thing over.
Yeah.
Going into the NASA news.
Yeah.
Got loads of spacey stuff going on at the moment.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's ongoing, isn't it? It's ongoing research.
Space, it's ongoing. A quote by Taylor.
Yeah.
Space is fucking...
Copywritten.
It's fucking big, isn't it?
It is. Just a little tiny bit.
Basically, in space now, a giant cyclone live from space. A giant cyclone is in the size of Texas has been discovered on Jupiter.
That's big.
So but it's basically been discovered by NASA. NASA's Juno probe.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So the Juno has discovered that there's a massive new cyclone, and it's huge. NASA's Jupiter's spacecraft has discovered a storm during a recent data gathering flyby. According to NASA, the solar powered probe discovered the cyclone in its 20-second flyby in early November and collected data on the gas giant. So soaring just over 2,170 miles above its clouds. In addition to the discovery of the storm, NASA's team managed to keep up with the spacecraft, keep the spacecraft clear of the eclipse, which could have ended the mission. Without enough sunlight, the probe could have suffered the same fate as the Mars Opportunity rover.
We don't want that.
And then it could have lost communication after a dust storm blocked the sun's rays. Do you know what I mean? So after that happened, the Mars rover was just like incontactable, if you like. So similar thing could have happened. So if obviously it got caught in that eclipse, and the battery cells ran dead, then it couldn't have got this data to send. Do you know what I mean? So luckily the team managed to jump Jupiter's shadow and discover a new tempest in progress. So it's found a massive new swirl. So
they've been a bit worried about the red spot. You know, the red spot on Jupiter, the big red spot.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's been going smaller, and thanks to Juno, they've been checking it out and saying that actually it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing weird going on.
Well,
it's just going a bit small.
Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a storm, isn't it? Yeah. It's a raging storm, so it's like, wouldn't you want?
But there's a reason.
You'd
why
hope that the planet's climate sort of calmed down.
Yeah, but it's like, because if something changes, then it changes
for a reason.
Yeah, and there's got to be.
And
something,
it's obviously effect.
So they thought that actually there was something going on with Jupiter, and that would have been one of the effects. So they were checking it out and found out that actually everything's all right there. It's just getting a little smaller, but no doubt it's going to grow again. You know.
Well, like I say, there's actually a couple of. They first discovered about 6 of these sort of spirals.
Yeah.
But now there's another one in the centre, I think.
Yeah, there's quite a few now.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I think it's a beautiful,
it's
a beautiful planet, though, isn't it? In terms of like,
Gas.
It's almost like what's his name? I forget. Is it Van Gogh? Or Van Gogh?
Yeah.
Sort
Van
of
Gogh
painting, yeah. Do you know what I mean? The sort of swirls and colours and stuff. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah.
So, other NASA news, thousands of government UFO reports now available on the Canadian University website.
So get out there and have a look, because there's going to be lots of info.
Canada. I might move to Canada because they're fucking awesome, I tell you what. It's like they've got everything under one roof. You want alien UFO records, bit of weed, whatever you want, man. Come in. We got mooses. And, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Happy with the Canadians.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind a log cabin out there.
I think every country should take a fucking a maple leaf out of Canada. I always go to say Canadian.
Canadian.
I know, it's because of the Canadians. And Canada. So I always say Canada, but I know, it's because I'm a dumbass.
Out of the Commonwealth.
But I think they should take a leaf out of Canada's book. Because they're a very progressive country. Apart from the Prime Minister getting into trouble recently. He always seems to be he's a young pup.
I'm not surprised.
He's getting in trouble.
I'm not surprised, especially after I heard they were looking at getting rid of bestiality, and then he come in and he decided not to.
Well, this is down to anyway the UFO stuff that's been taken to Canada's university. It's been donated by a UFO enthusiast, and he's donated his collection of over 30,000 documents to the UFO UFO research to the University of Manitoba in Canada.
Got to be some good
stuff. The truth is there, apparently. So,
well, there's been a lot of UFO sightings in Chile at the minute. Apparently, nearly every day there's like.
Yeah, I actually read that. I think I've got that story here, to be honest.
Right.
Well, going on this one, the Canada one, the skies of North Canada are home to plenty of mysterious phenomena.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So just keep your eyes out.
There.
And there's never a shortage of UFO sightings in the skies of Canada.
Yeah, it's a wonderful place to.
I'd love to go to Canada. Actually, it does look like a beautiful country.
Well,
and like I say, in fact, one of my plans for the future is, and it's been my plan. It's been one of my ambitions for a long time. Is I want to go to Alaska. Yeah. I want to go. No, well,
yeah,
I want to go
there.
take some. I want to go out and take some photos. I want to take some portraits of people, and I want to take some landscape stuff. But I think, like, obviously, if I'm going there, I'm going kind of the main places in Canada as well. Do you know what I mean?
The triangle.
The triangle.
Yeah.
The Bermuda one.
No, there's a triangle in there in Alaska.
Oh right.
Where most FBI files that are open there of like people missing. It's like 300 people go missing a year.
What, just in this one spot?
Just in this one triangle area.
Right,
yeah.
Okay, fucking hell.
Can't work out.
Well,
why.
obviously there's a serial killer on the loose, and the police want to get the fucking pull the fingers out and get him caught.
Well, no,
300 people. That's a bit fucking many.
Over the last couple of weeks, I'm starting to think that there is a real big possibility that there are wormholes opening up. I really do, with a lot of the stuff that we've.
What do you think? Honestly, do you think that, like, we'll go into this because in my entertainment news, mate, we're going to be talking about something I think might be connected in that respect to what you were saying.
Yeah.
But we'll go into that.
Yeah.
Okay. But wormholes in general, I think if you're going to talk about wormholes opening up, then what do you think it's doing, taking people, or people are just wandering into them and finding themselves in another dimension or another parallel universe?
Yeah, something like that. But then, I've heard stories about connecting people that have gone from one side of the planet to the other side of the planet.
Well, we talked in the Missing 411 how people were able to kind of disappear from one area of these national parks and end up miles away, 100 miles away in not very much time. Yeah. So, it's possible. I mean, wormholes was discussed then, I think. Yeah,
it definitely was. Yeah, without a doubt. But it's really making me think, because I've been looking at other stuff over the last couple of weeks, and it's really making me think that with the most of these disappearance, I think it's got to be something like that, because there is no other
explanation, really.
There is no other. It's your only explanation, unless something fast is coming in, picking them up and then going away.
Well, talking about UFOs and sightings and stuff, 133 UFO sightings in Illinois so far in 2019.
See
what they saw. Basically, the National UFO Reporting Center gets witnessed accounts from unidentified flying objects every year from people in Illinois and elsewhere around the country. But the idea that we're not alone and aliens from another galaxy is basically part of coming down and visiting is pretty kind of high in Illinois by the looks of it.
It's getting more and more.
133 reports, though. Do you know what I mean? It's quite. Are they trying to go for the hotspot record? It's like.
No, I don't think so, to be honest, because I think there's a lot more other places that have a lot more UFOs sightings than there. I thought when you were reading there, I thought that ain't not really that many.
Well, there was 6 strange lights that appeared on November the 7th.
Yeah.
In Aurora, and basically one of those basically flew off independently. On the 3rd of October, which is my birthday, in Lockport, a man saw 2 faint yellow lights chasing each other on the east side of the basically in the east of the sky. 10 minutes later, he saw 20 similar lights flying in perfect V formation, heading south. And then the objects travelling very fast and disappeared into the sky.
See, there's a lot of V's, man.
I know, They've seen quite a lot of these V shapes when they're talking about orb lights and stuff like that.
Philadelphia lights. Let
us know if you live in Illinois. Give us a shout if you've seen any alien UFOs. Give us the scoop, man. Send us the photos and we'll talk about it. Send us the videos. We'll put them on the website. Or anywhere in the world, really. If you've seen anything like that, send it in. We'd love to see it.
Yeah, we'd love to share it.
And we'd love to kind of talk about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Give us a holler. Right, yeah. So, there's your NASA news for this week. Have you got any more NASA news you want to talk about?
I have.
Go on, give us it then, because we're running out of time.
Yes, it is definitely confirmed now that water ice is just slightly below the surface.
Below the surface of what?
Of Mars.
Right, okay.
So all you need is a shovel, and you'd
hit water.
You'd hit water straight away.
I think there was. Do you know what?
And it is.
I didn't think it was as dead of a planet as they said it was, to be honest. And I think the fact that we've only discovered most of it, it's like we've not traveled. Have we kind of explored the whole of Mars by rover yet?
No.
We've basically travelled a little bit of a region. So the chances are they could be like, more sort of fertile grounds.
Yeah, it's 35 degrees north and 45 degrees south.
We always choose kind of barren land, wasteland to land on as well.
Barren,
There's obviously got to be cavernous sort of areas where it's moist.
You can't send a robot in there.
No, exactly.
Need a human in there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But there'll be sort of underground areas that might be moist. Yeah, and that's life, mate. And it's like life could be still existing on Mars that we haven't yet kind of even came in contact with.
Well, if there's water there, there's got to be at least some kind of life somewhere along there.
And then we can answer the age-old question that David Bowie put to us.
Yeah.
Is there life on Mars?
Well, the answer's nearly here.
Oh, good old Bowie.
Even though we all realistically know it.
What?
Oh, no, we
know.
We do know.
Hey, come on. We're living in this day and age now where it's not even kind of a question, really, is it? It's more of a, come on then, well, can you get on with finding the evidence to back it up?
Yeah. I mean, look at that report you was talking about on the UFOs, the 133. Now, 10 years ago, that would have been nearly a hotspot. But now, it's not really...
It's not even on the sort of...
It's about 20th in line or something.
See, this is it, though. It's like, I want to see one. I want to see a real one.
Do you really do?
Do we really do? Yeah, we really do.
You do?
I do, though, don't you, though?
Well, it depends which one, I suppose.
Right, yeah.
You don't want...
I don't want one with a gun.
You want grey. You don't want any... You don't want...
I don't know.
Lizard.
I don't care.
No, you do.
Whatever the situation.
The reports.
Well, moving on. Entertainment news. I really should make a jingle for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So something like ba 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 entertainment news. Yeah, there you go. See.
We don't need no music.
We just freestyle it every time. I've said this. This is our new tagline. It's never a straight answer, making it up as we go along since 2018.
Yeah.
Entertainment news. Ghostbusters has just released its first trailer. Oh my God! Ghostbusters Afterlife is the direct sequel to Ghostbusters 2. And basically it looks fucking amazing.
Yeah, it looks like a nice story, man, as well. Looks like a good storyline.
Yeah, so it's directed by Jason Reitman, and that's the son of the original director, Irving Reitman.
Oh, right.
No, sorry, was it Irving who was his dad? His dad was the original director anyway.
Yeah.
And The trailer looks pretty cool. I think like the kid from Stranger Things, he seems to be getting typecast in these sort of roles.
Yeah.
But still pretty kind of good choice if you don't mind me saying. I think.
Yeah, I thought it was a good choice.
Yeah, Paul Rudd. I think he's decently cast for the film. I think he would have made a really good Ghostbuster. I'm not sure if he's going to become a Ghostbuster or he's just there as kind of a mentor to the kids. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The kids are going to become the Ghostbusters. I don't know. I think there's about 3 or 4.
But if there's 3, I'd say yeah. If there's 4, I'd say no.
Now, there's a couple of things that I noticed from the trailer when I was looking into it. And it was like how, when they arrived at this house, it was like who was supposed to be the grandfather or the relative, because they say this is the only thing that we've got left in our family name, this house.
Yeah.
And this is why we're moving here, right? So it made me think, well, whose house is it? Do you know what I mean? It's got to be one of the Ghostbusters. And he's got all the original sort of kit knocking around, Ecto-1s in a barn. And, it's all kind of there for them, right? Yeah. So it's got to be rather 1 or 2 people. It's rather got to be Ray's house, or, Egon's, right? Now, big clues in the trailer. Obviously, there's the spores, molds, and fungus collection.
Yeah,
which obviously Egon collected, and then you've obviously got like when there's that line from Paul Rudd, and he says, "Who are you?" and she pulls away the jumpsuits and Spangler's is the name on the jumpsuit. So it says to me that they're Spangler's kids.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I'd say so.
Which is quite appropriate because obviously Harold Ramey's died not long ago. The only original Ghostbuster, to pass away. And I think it's a big tribute to him as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I hope so.
To have him still included in the franchise.
Yeah,
the fact that it's a torch passing on film.
Yeah.
But it's got this sort of he's still kind of integral to the story.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think in terms of Ghostbusters, it's pretty funny because like it's got that humour, but it's not.
It has to be.
It's not pushing it in your face like the 2016 version, and it's kind of like.
Oh, you mean the woman's version?
Yeah. And there was a funny reference in the trailer. Yeah, the worst version that they did.
Yeah,
the very worst. The she who shall not be named.
Well as well, but
I was looking forward to it because obviously when you hear there's going to be a new Ghostbusters film, like I am here now, talking about this one, and it's like, shit, this is going to be amazing, and then it's not. It's like you're heartbroken, but you get on with it. Yeah, and I think this one does look like it's going to live up to the franchise. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's in a little different direction as well.
Exactly, yeah, but there's a line in it where he says, there's not been a recorded ghost sighting in 30 years. And
did a good job?
Well, yeah, obviously, it's like, they're totally omitting the 2016 version, aren't they? So, Yeah, so that was, I think the Ghostbusters is due out next summer. So something to look forward to, and I'm really looking forward to it.
I wanted it to be like Christmas Day or something.
No, I wish. Yeah.
There's
not. I don't think there's anything too good scheduled for Christmas Day in the UK. I think there's a Gavin and Stacey Christmas special, and that's about it.
That's probably a repeat.
There's usually something really good that I'm looking forward to, but other than that, other entertainment news is I watched recently Doctor Sleep, the sequel to The Shining.
Yeah.
And thought it was fucking excellent.
See?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a fan of the original Shining. Jack Nicholson is just amazing in that film. And we've talked about it in terms of its connection to Kubrick and the moon landing.
Yeah.
And how some of the connections are kind of... It's almost like he's kind of put in clues to what he did in the film. Yeah. And it's supposedly supposed to be a reference to how Stanley Kubrick was Jack... And he had to work for this company, and he had an obligation to his employer, and all this. So I thought it was really interesting, the take on Danny's character, going forward and growing up, and how he has lived with The Shining. Now they explain it like the house or the hotel, the Overlook, was almost like an entity of itself that had beings and monsters that were trying to eat what Danny had, The Shining. They lived off it. That's what The Shining kind of was. That the original film, The Shining, it was almost like these people wanted to kind of get Danny because he had this ability or these powers. Yeah. And he managed to get out, right? Whereas in the Doctor Sleep, it's kind of like a group of people who have basically been able to live a lot longer, because they they feed off anyone with The Shining,
right? Okay, and
so they need it, so they're kind of constantly tracking people down, to try and
invite them into the area so they can deal with them.
Rather incorporate them into their group or take them and eat them and drain them. So it was a very kind of different sort of what's the word, like not antagonists, whereas it was like it was an unknown entity in the Shining, because it was the hotel felt like it was alive, and all these things that were happening in certain rooms of the hotel, and kind of like it was a strange sort of setup. It was like a haunted house. Whereas this is more in the world. And it explains it that these are like people out there who are kind of more
like vampires.
All those people out there who are magic. Do you know what I mean? But it's not magic. It's more sort of being able to a heightened sense. But it's a Stephen King. He's had the seal of approval on it, and as most people know, we didn't really like the original, The Shining from Kubrick. So fair play. There's been a big uprising Stephen King movies.
There has,
It and the success of that. So, yeah, pretty decent.
Well, that's good.
Definitely recommend Dr. Sleep, though. There's a brilliant story involved. And, yeah, there was points where I was just like, come on.
You shoot yourself?
No, well, I'm not. I don't think it's one of those. I mean, it's more of a psychological thriller. It's not there's a few jump scares in it, but it's not gory, it's not gross. Yeah, it's kind of got a lot of imagery from the original Shining movie.
Yeah. But telling the story as it's going on.
Yeah, I think the only one problem I thought about it was the casting for there was 2 characters in it that I felt was a bit
dodgy.
Not dodgy, but like
didn't do it. Did it do the film justice?
Yeah, exactly. And it was two characters who appeared in the original movie. I don't want to spoil too much, but these 2 characters who were in the original movie who kind of, if not flashback, but there's one flashback and another thing. Yeah, and you see 2 characters.
I think I know
from the point of view, and I thought that they were just a bit. Oh, just not on the money. And I think, like, I mean, I complain because I think all this, de-aging and whether you scan yourself into a Disney movie, then they own the rights to your image and they can use you in fucking 20 years' time on another movie. You know, have we talked about this James Dean thing? I think we should, because, like, right, well, basically, James Dean is going to be appearing in a Vietnam War movie. Oh, right. So they've acquired the rights for his likeness from the family, 2 of his cousins who've okayed the project. And when they were casting this film, they must have just been like, who should we get to, play fucking this character? And some fucking arsehole's gone, James Dean? Yeah, because James Dean was around during the Vietnam War, or would have any interest in playing this character.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like they're using the guy's likeness because they can, yeah. And it's like, just hire a guy to do it. Yeah, it's going to cost you a fortune to fucking do it. Why don't you just hire an actor who could be his breaking career? Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
Get a new kid and a new face in there. Do you know what I mean?
Get reality back, not all this
bullshit. Oh, you're making me angry.
Making people like...
So what I'm getting at is, it's like, I think they're taking all this shit too far, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that, yeah.
So
totally with you.
Yeah.
Phone companies have that issue as well, and so do, like, authorities.
So yeah, but like, I think, like, I'd rather have them cast somebody in this film that looked more like the people they were meant to be playing, than them de-age them or put, like, use special effects to put Jack Nicholson's face on someone, or fucking, I don't know, whoever. Yeah, it's like.
Didn't you see that new Will Smith film?
Yeah, Gemini.
What did you think about them doing it on that film?
Well, because Will Smith's alive and he's give consent. That's totally different if he wants to do it and he's kind of comfortable with that. Now, the problem is they didn't actually, scan his face or anything like that. They built a 3D model of him that's, like, all computer generated.
Yeah, through pictures and stuff like that.
Yeah, they didn't, and then they just basically layered that over. Will Smith played both parts in that film.
Yeah.
So, well, there you go.
Yeah, but then they've laid his face.
Oh, they've changed his face.
It's still the same concept, but
no, they
alive.
changed his face, but then they used motion capture.
Yeah.
Will Smith with those little balls all over his face to capture his expressions and emotions, so essentially, he is Will Smith playing it. He's still acting, he's still moving, he's still emoting. Yeah, but it's all being captured on motion capture and translated through a puppet or a computer-generated avatar.
Yeah, but it's sort of the same thing without the person being dead, but with the face.
That's
just
what I'm saying. Now, in the
changing.
future, say Will Smith passes away next week. Yeah, right. Touch wood, he doesn't. Fresh Prince rules.
Fresh Prince, right. Stay alive, bruvs.
Fucking, he passes away, right? But then 2 years, 10 years down the line, they turn around and go, oh, right, yeah, well, because we had Will Smith on file from Genesis, Gemini Man, we're able to make as many Will Smith movies as we want. Bad Boys 5's coming out next week, or Bad Boys 4, or whatever the situation is, yeah. Men in Black is going to be back in Men in Black, yeah. All these opportunities and franchises that Will Smith's been connected to that he might not have wanted to return to when he was alive, but once somebody on his estate says, yeah, go for it. they've got them, but they've already got him on file. They can basically drag that up, put him in any movie. They've got a 3D model of Will Smith.
They would have had him on file ages ago.
Of course
because
he will have,
look at who the first one that happened to Tupac.
Well,
they put Tupac on stage doing his thing.
I think there's been loads of stuff like this, like Elvis, and but that's holograms, isn't it? Michael Jackson's performed as a hologram already, so well. There you go. Well, I think that's enough for the entertainment news. I think we'll be moving into the main topic.
Yeah.
So, So basically, this episode has been inspired by a listener who sent us an email and asked. We were having a chat, and I said, is he any topics? He said, love the topics that we kind of we do, and. Said, out of the topics, you've listened to, he says he's been listening for just over a year. This guy's called Brian. Big shout out to Brian.
Big shout out, Brian. Yeah, man.
Thanks for getting in touch.
Thanks for listening for us, man.
He's hailing from New England in the States.
Grew up in New England.
So, he said, have you ever talked about out-of-body experiences?
Yeah.
So I said, do you know what? It's actually a really interesting topic, that, and it's something that we were thinking of doing.
Yeah.
So, based on, we've asked him to kind of, if it was okay to talk about his story.
Yeah.
And whether, we could, he wanted to know if, he basically said it'd be really cool to hear us having a proper conversation about it, right? Yeah. And I said, that's cool as fuck with me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was good enough to send us his story, and we're going to read that out tonight.
Yeah.
Plus, we found some other bits and pieces.
Yeah.
I'm really interested in this. There's so many angles on it.
We changed our subject, didn't we, really, for this?
Well, it does kind of go into a couple of different avenues in terms of philosophical sort of, implications.
Yeah.
And what it means to have an out-of-body experience.
Because we have sketched on it in certain ways in different episodes.
Yeah, of course.
But not actually gone into depth. And we did.
I think like how you kind of can achieve, an out-of-body experience without being in a disaster, without being in a sort of a near-death experience.
Yeah.
But there's a few different ways you can have a sort of guided meditation.
Yeah.
Or near-death experience.
Yeah.
You could have like a drug-fueled,
funny druggy.
Yeah. You could even faint. And have an out-of-body experience.
Or and even none of them, just walking down the road, just
I think it's a very interesting topic, so we're going to be going into this stuff. So firstly, I mean, like, have you ever had an out-of-body experience?
I think I've had one, but since I've been smoking the beautiful herb from the earth, I don't really dream.
Yeah, well, we've discussed this. I don't have,
but I have.
Very many
do remember
dreams.
Years ago. Remember one about a dog that we used to have called Penny.
Oh,
going to actually the vets where we had to actually have a put down.
Oh.
I remember sort of floating over that way.
So did you see it as a third sort of, like you were in the room and you were observing what was going on in the room?
No, and it was funny. It was just like I was.
And what happened? Was you unconscious, or did you fall unconscious or something? Because this is generally what happens. Do you know what I mean? People say that they were out for the count when they have these out-of-body experiences.
I was just laying on my bed.
Oh, right, okay.
Just laying on my bed, just relaxed, watching TV and like.
Okay. And then you just felt like you were out of your body.
Yeah, it was pretty weird.
Well, they say everybody is capable.
Yeah.
And it's not as uncommon as you might think. Going back to Brian's story. So firstly, he wanted to say that he'd been a big fan of the show. He'd been listening for a while, and he's basically he was very happy that we were willing to, have a chat about this anyway.
Yeah, Mum.
So he sent me an email here. I'm just trying to get to the right place, so just bear with me. So it was in 1999, and he was deep in an addiction due to back problems.
Yeah.
So basically, he was unrelated. He was having some back issues, and he was self-medicating with opiates of all kinds, right? So
it's easy to get caught up on.
Yeah, of course, mate. It's like when you're in pain and it's like, fuck me, mate. You take a tablet and then it wears off after 20 minutes and then it's like, fuck, I need another one.
Yeah.
It's like I went into hospital with something and I ended up like, because I was chewing painkillers just
eating like Smarties.
Yeah, I was getting turned away at the pharmacy.
Yeah.
And when I went to the hospital and they give me stronger stuff, I was like that 2 hours later. Can I have some more painkillers? They were like, not a chance. You've already had what you need. And I was like, well, it's really hurting.
Yeah.
So I couldn't understand how these things happen. So
very easy. Yeah,
so
very easy.
Got into a kind of an opiate habit, taking opiates of all kinds. That day, him and a friend, he says friend, but he'll use that particular word at the moment to describe him. Got some smack that they didn't know had already killed 4 people.
Yeah.
Right. So they go to his place, they get the stuff ready, and here's where he starts to recall.
Yeah.
It all going a bit weird, right? So his friend put the needle in his arm.
Yeah.
And then basically where am I? Puts the needle in his arm and then he wakes up in hospital 4 days later.
Whoa.
But when he came back into the room, it was only 5 minutes after initially, going under.
Yeah.
Right? He basically could see that his face was turning blue.
Yeah.
He started, was getting CPR and they'd called the EMTs. But his mate hadn't hidden any of the fucking drugs or, basically cleared up the scene.
Yeah.
He just fucking rang the police. Well, fair enough, mate. Your mate's dying. You're gonna go fucking... I wouldn't be asked about what was lying around, but you're going to be in shit anyways. Just
because you're going to have to tell the medics
what he's
taking.
You'd have to tell him what had happened. So he's basically witnessing this.
Yeah.
So he's
witnessing his own demise.
Well, he's saying he's calling him a friend.
Yeah.
But anyway. Meanwhile,
sort of he was.
So anyway, well, fucking hell. Meanwhile, he can't get a pulse. His heart wouldn't start beating, and basically he was clinically dead for 3 minutes. His heart wasn't beating for 3 minutes, and so he can back it all up with medical records. Like the paramedics' arrival time and their count on the CPR, and also they put the paddles on his chest trying to shock his heart back into beating, but nothing was working. They whisked him off to hospital, and this all happened in the span of about 15 minutes, right? So during that time, I know, I was going to say that. During this time when he'd basically had his out-of-body experience, now there was a voice in each of our heads, So this isn't basically saying you've got a voice inside your head, and you know it to be you, You recognise it as yourself, So when he left his body, he didn't encounter a white light, he didn't encounter angels or family or friends of the past, but how he knows this really happened is the fact that it was too sort of, amazing pathological sort of to be a figment of his imagination. He says it was too much, too big for him to, conjure up.
Yeah.
So he says that, he also kind of, what was this? Just as a kind of he felt like there was a force or person out to get them. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
He didn't feel like there was an unknown force or a person judging him or out to get him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just heard of 3 words: no pain. Right.
Right.
Then he noticed which was strange, that he had no eyes to see. That I was in a most massive, and here's where the human language falls short, because I'm not able to fully articulate a void I sensed that was infinite.
Yeah.
Basically, we read people talking about the abyss and the void and the great nothing.
Yeah.
Well, where I made the abyss, this made the abyss seem tiny in comparison, and he didn't feel any sense of danger or violence or anything being judging him or anything like that. Yeah. Just that an unknown entity was basically, something that's not of this world, fucking built it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, he said he saw 3 huge thrones. Yeah.
Okay.
Big, huge stone thrones.
Yeah.
And it looked like whoever sat on them was not fucking human.
Yeah.
Next thing he knew,
giants.
He was back at the hospital. Obviously, he was in the hospital.
Yeah.
And they tried to get his heart beating again.
Yeah.
So they administered a medicine called Narcan,
right,
which basically counteracts the opiate overdose. Yeah. And it worked, right? Yeah. So then he felt the sensation of actually being pulled back downwards and crashing back into his body. Then awoke 4 days later in hospital, right? So he said he kind of felt this for the first, say, 15 minutes of this experience, right? So he's been out up for the count on the floor at his mate's house, right? Then he's had to get fucking picked up by the paramedics, taken to hospital, right? Tried CPR again. This is going to be about 20 minutes. Yeah. So basically, the doctor said that he was as dead as any overdose victim that has ever come in. Yeah. And, he says it's fully truth. He's not lying. He said it's a small miracle that I survived, and I hope, that it doesn't happen again. Obviously, he's basically 12 years sober since this. And good on him.
Changed his life a bit.
Well, I don't know if it was a wake-up call or something, but I think it would be for me.
Yeah.
He says it's a full truth. He's basically like, with whole truth and nothing but the truth. And, I
believe you.
It's like he just partakes in a bit of, medicinal bud now.
Yeah, so, not wrong with it a bit.
But I think it's a really interesting story. I don't know what in terms of, there's a lot of evidence that we've found that we've been looking into this week about how out-of-body experiences in cardiac arrest and near death, often result in, out-of-body experiences.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but there's a few different kind of takes on it that prove that it's not really disputed in the scientific community either. Do you know what I mean? They've got the hypothesis for it and why they think it happens.
Yeah.
And there's even been witness testimonies to incidents that have happened as well. So, what do you think about that story then? Because and thank you, Brian, for sending that in and getting involved in the show.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
I think it's a very interesting story in terms of like, the fact that you felt like this infinite, and I like the fact that you were saying that there's no sort of judging or sort of
you felt at ease.
You felt at ease, yeah, exactly. But I mean, go on. What do you think?
I was trying to remember when he was talking. I was trying to remember a word. There's a little area between apparently, those who talk about ghosts, between death. And
like
going
the
to heaven and
propaganda, what is it, purgatory?
No, it's there's a certain word for it. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a little play zone where you stay there if you're anxious, if there's something that you haven't finished down on Earth.
Yeah, purgatory.
Is it purgatory?
Yeah, I think that's the no man's land between. Yeah, like a sort of a between realm, if you like.
Yeah, I know it's a certain word. I can't remember the word though. It's sort of like voodoo or something like that. No, I can't remember what the word was.
Voodoo's something else, isn't it?
Yeah, it just reminds me of that he's in a place where nothing's happening as of
like just infinite nothing.
Yeah.
But like I say, where's these thrones coming from now? That's interesting.
Well, that's the interesting thing, and he would have found out. I would reckon he would have found out a lot more if he'd stayed longer. But then the chances are he'd probably have more damage.
Yeah, to him. Yeah. That's the thing, isn't it? Because I think we went into this quite a bit because in terms of like I said earlier, cardiac arrest patients, these are. A doctor basically was saying, I was watching this interview about cardiac arrest patients using basically having a perspective of the room and be able to see what's going on in the room and recall it afterwards. So they've been dead yeah, right, or had a near-death experience or whatever, and they've literally had an O.B.E. and then been able to kind of see what was going on in the room, be able to travel through walls, be able to listen to conversations that were going on in other rooms, and then after the fact, when they've woke up or been, resuscitated, they were able to recall what those conversations were, and be able to kind of say what they saw and all the rest of it. So, I mean, is it a kind of an ability that you can call upon? Because it seems that way. It seems like it's something that you can do. When I was looking into guided meditations and meditating, and a lot of it comes down to high frequencies and resonances. So on
waves and
waves and frequencies. But then there's other things that basically saying that it's down to being in an in-between state of non-sleep, REM sleep, and being awake. So REM sleep is like when you're dreaming, you're dead, you're dead to the world, you've got deep sleep,
eye movement,
right? And
rapid eye movement.
You get rapid eye movement. That's when you're dreaming. So when you're awake, you don't remember those. Your brain's not in that capacity. It's not in a state. So a lot of faint victims, people who suffer from fainting.
I was surprised on that one.
No, they have the highest rate of out of body experiences by all accounts, because the fainting, they're not conscious, they're not unconscious. There's a point where they are between states. And they'll have an out of body experience. Do you know what I mean? Because it's the disconnection of the mind and the body. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, it's a strange one, but is that because, and are you really seeing the things you're seeing, or is it your mind making those images so realistic because you are between, that you can't differentiate what is real and what's not, because you feel awake, but you've entered that dream state. Do you know what I mean? You've clicked into dream mode.
But while you're hovering, looking over yourself, where's your brain?
Well, in your body.
Now, the way I've seen it and understand it, that there's some kind of spring that brings you back, because believe it or not,
like Doctor Strange pulling you back.
Believe it or not, a lot of people don't want to leave because there's no pain. There's no issues. You're happy. You know what I mean?
We were looking into this actually, wasn't we?
For some reason, not necessarily from medical help, in just their own body, some kind of brings them back, like our
like an unknown force pulled them back. Well, well, there's a case study here, and it's Jermaine Porter. He was on 1 Hour in A&E, which is a kind of a medical show, which is real life hospitals,
right?
And they follow the porters and the doctors and stuff around. Well, when he says this is his real life encounter, basically incident. He said when he was 16 or 17, he had a sports car. Do you know what I mean? He thought he was the fucking bees.
Rebel.
Thought he was the bee's knees. Thought he was a fucking badass driving his sports car. And he said it almost killed him. What was it? A Z20?
Nice.
What was it? What's that make then? I don't know what a Z20.
I think it's.
Well, he said he was doing 90 miles an hour and he flipped the car, saw a bright light and a triangle. He went towards it, and then he was told that he had to go back because there was stuff that he was still yet to do. And then he, ever since he was like a straight A student, became a medical, went into medicine, and now he's medicine. He's a porter at one of the hospitals. So I don't think you have to be into medical stuff to be a porter, do you? But
no.
But I think he's been a straight A student ever since.
Good on him.
Works in a hospital. He's a good lad. Seems like a good lad.
Life,
So, what he's saying is, though, he saw a bright light and then a triangle. He said he went towards it. Now, there is cases where people say they saw bright lights and they see family members and stuff like that
beyond the doorway.
But I mean, in terms of neurological pathways, right, and signals go into your brain, right. it stands to reason to me that if you were kind of dying, and there's no blood flow to your brain, then you the lights start going out. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So those memories that kind of are basically synapses firing, that recall those memories for you. They stop working, and you might get that flash of it one last time. Or you start hallucinating, you start seeing things that aren't there, like talking to relatives that, you know, have been long dead and stuff. You don't know how your...
Yeah, because your body might...
It's a chemical breakdown at the end of the day, isn't it? Yeah. So how that affects your memory and what you see in terms of a dream state, it's very complex and kind of really difficult to understand. Yeah. So
it's more difficult than the computer, the brain, you know what I mean?
Oh, so definitely.
There's still a very, very, very lot to learn about.
Did you find any sort of case studies or stories regarding, out-of-body experiences?
Yeah, I found one where this guy, had, when he was about 16, he went into his room and just lay down and just fell into this, state.
Yeah.
It just out of nowhere. Fell into this state, and he wandered around his room, you know, looking at himself, you know, checking things out, and he come back to, like I said, like, you know, like the rubber band to bring them back.
Yeah.
So he thought he'd look into this,
right? Okay.
More. So he did a nice little test. So he actually knew that it was true what he was seeing. He actually, the next time it happened, he went 4 blocks down the road and looked at a certain car and looked at the registration plate.
Right.
So then, soon as the rubber band brings him back, and he goes back to his...
Rubber ball comes bouncing back to you.
Goes back to his body.
Yeah.
He gets up in his pyjamas, walks out of his yard, goes 4 blocks down the road to check a number plate on the car, and it was.
And he got it.
He got it.
Yeah, you see, there's so many examples of people being able to recall this information.
People need. We'll try and test it first.
Of course,
so there's evidence there.
Well, I've got a story here. A man outside the window on a second floor flat, or a second floor apartment. A near-death experience researchers Robert and Susanna May told this newspaper in 2011 about a man's out-of-body experience that was verified by a witness. So,
witness?
Basically, the man...
What, seeing the body?
Nope, check this out, right? So a man was severely injured in a car accident on a foggy night. He was later said to rose out of his body, flew over the houses, where he basically stopped outside a window of a second floor apartment.
Stalker.
Right. The man in the house basically heard him call and called the police.
What?
Right. So he heard somebody outside the window.
Right.
At the exact same time he was supposed to have been there. Yeah, on the second floor. The man called the police. And the basically said he saw a foggy figure of a man at the window.
Oh, shit.
So he's basically saying he flew, and he confirmed it, because obviously when he came out of it, he'd said that, you know, I've had this out-of-body experience, and I went to this house, and then the guy who lived there was like, he might have been somebody you knew. Do you know what I mean? And then he's gone round and he went, a fucking guy at the window the other night. And he goes, that was me. I came over out of body.
See, I haven't heard of any experiences like that.
Oh, well, like I say, I mean, it's apparently not so uncommon to have it.
Yeah, everyone has it at least once.
Well, this is what the research is saying. I've put a poll out on Twitter to basically find out what the public and our listeners think about it.
Oh, right.
So I've put out, do you believe in out-of-body experiences? And if so, what do you reckon brings them on the most?
Yeah.
Near-death experiences, astro or guided meditation, drug-induced out-of-body, or is it all just a load of bullshit?
Right.
Yeah. 29% said near death, ranging from out-of-body experiences in childbirth, up to kind of astral guided projection. 0% on that one. So no one's really digging that, but I'm going to go into that in a minute.
Yeah.
Because actually,
it is a big part.
It is a very, very big part of it. Drug induced came in at a whopping 43%.
Yeah, I thought it would.
Yeah, I think so. I think most people were just hallucinating, I think.
Yeah.
And then 29% said it was all a load of bullshit. But going into the guided meditation stuff, right?
Yeah.
So when I first started researching out-of-body experiences, this is a lot of stuff that came up, right?
Yeah.
And one particular guy who came up was Sadhguru, which is he's sort of a shaman sort of guy, and he's a yogi.
Yogi.
Yogi, and he's basically really interesting, and he was talking about kind of how you can train yourself to basically do this. And leave the body. Now he says that there's a couple of ways you can leave your body through death, and obviously you don't really want to do it that way.
Last resort.
That's going to happen eventually, but it's like you've got to leave. You want to be able to leave your body safely without damaging it. Yeah, so like dropping your body like clothing is basically not easy, and you don't want to damage the body. So you can basically learn how to do it, and there's a website you can go to, and it's Asha Foundation.org, I think. But if you just Google it, it's ASHA Foundation, and you should be able to find it. He said basically two things to understand. Is death is basically one way to leave your body. But raising your energy, right? So how you kind of get out of your body is like you've died, so your body is your flesh, and you basically that's gone, so it's nothing to contain your spirit or your sort of astral form, right? So but obviously your body's not usable then anyway, right? This is what he's getting at, right?
Yeah.
But then obviously the way he says it is by raising your energy and bringing it to a higher frequency, you're able to kind of expel yourself from your form.
So it's like a cell. We're in like a cell.
Well, not necessarily, but like this is an extension of us. Do you know what I mean? It's your earthly form, right? Well, this is what he's getting at, right?
Okay.
But obviously this kind of allows your spirit to kind of leave, but it's very interesting stuff, in terms of
definitely.
like he's very chilled out. He says there's a couple of different religions that all kind of believe this in terms of being able to kind of leave your body and become sort of on another plane of existence. Do you know?
There's loads of cases. Indian.
Not only that, I mean, it's funny because like it all comes into stuff like loads of different sciences and stuff that we've already looked into, like remote viewing, able to astral travel to try and see stuff in far off areas, miles away. Do you know? It's a lot of people will
time traveling one as well.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean,
John
it's
Titor.
Well, would you say John Titor was one of those, or was it Andrew Basiago, or there was the Jump program where they were sending people, in time, but was it just? It wasn't just the consciousness; it was.
Well,
they were physically supposed to have been there because I think Andrew Basiago was supposed to have. Rather stop the Lincoln assassination at something or something really bizarre.
Yeah, went all weird, but I suppose some of that will be contained within that area as well. You know what I mean? It's it can go into so many different areas of mystery. Like we've already been talking about ghosts. Time travel.
Exactly. I mean, the thing is about kind of astral projection is it does cover a lot of different. Well, not even astral projection, but I mean like
out-of-body
experiences in general. Because obviously, if you are able to leave your physical form, then that does kind of suggest that there's an afterlife.
Yeah,
right. Because it's saying that you're able to part your brain from your consciousness. And able to go off independently.
Yeah.
And travel and go through walls and retain that information and knowledge and personal details about yourself. And exist beyond your human body. Right. So, I mean, in terms of a scientific community, right, there's been absolutely minimal pushback from the neurological scientific community. And most of the people will have one in their life, so it's not an uncommon thing. Like I said earlier, 15% of people who do suffer from, but have experienced an out-of-body experience, have been fainters, people who faint quite a lot, because like I said, it's between those states.
But then again, could that be just something wrong with the connection through the body, from the brain to through the spine? Could there be actually a not a disease, but an actual something's broken there?
What, like, well...
Yeah, because you're fainting... you don't faint for no reason.
But there's narcoleptics who just fall asleep for no reason. I mean,
this is what I mean.
Well, I got to say, I do suffer occasionally with blackouts. Not major ones. I've never
blacked out in my life.
I've never blacked out to the point where I've collapsed, But, like, I think I just get too tired sometimes, and, like, I'll stand up too fast.
Listen to your body.
Yeah.
That's what
I stand up too fast, and then, like, I'll go, whoa, and it blacks out, but I always steady myself. I've never gone over.
Yeah.
Right. So I've gone, fucking hell, that was a bit
I've done that a few times.
But it's like blood rushing to your head. It's like a combination of things.
So you made an effect.
Right? But I don't think I've ever encountered an out-of-body experience because of that. I felt weird, but I've never felt like I've had an out-of-body experience. I think people's different encounters as well, because these encounters are people who've met family members, like I say, or saw a bright white light, or like in Brian's case, it was like a void with stone thrones. What do you think that indicates in terms of?
It could be just something within his mind.
Like something on a personal level, like he thinks he's like,
Well, there's loads of books out there of dreams, you know what I mean?
What it suggests to me is like how he felt, in his sort of, in his personal self, about how he felt in comparison to the size of these structures, or these massive beings or entities who used to sit on these thrones, or still do sit on these thrones, and how small he was compared to those. But
he nearly got to see what was there, but then he was brought back.
But then, like in the other story about the guy who crashed his sports car, he said that he heard a voice who said he'd still got stuff left to do. Now, maybe, it was...
But that's not uncommon as well, to be honest.
What?
That you've got stuff to do, you're not supposed to stay here.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to go back.
Stay, but you can't.
Well, it seems to be a kind of a common thing that people say when they've come out of an out-of-body experience. That they, but obviously they'd say that because... the fact is they have come back.
And you did come back. They're
obviously the guy who didn't come back. He didn't say it to him. He said, "Nope." It's like when I go up there and I'm like, right, St. Peter, am I all right or to go in, or have you still got stuff for me to do down there? And he'd be like, no, you can go in. It's like, you sure?
It's
like, well, I kind of want to go back. Nope, not you. You've got nothing to do down there now.
It reminds me of there was a suggestion, or there was a big conversation about 3 years ago about a tower on the moon. Now, this supposed massive tower had some kind of crystal on top. This is what they were talking about, and there was a real suggestion of that when you die, your soul or your spirit goes to this crystal, and then whenever another baby is born, you're thrown into that baby. So your life starts again, but your mind has been wiped. Now, it reminds me of, that guy who I was talking to you about the life on the board.
Yeah.
How we're like at the bottom, we're like at the top, and our soul has been some kind of in some kind of beam area, some kind of god area kind of thing.
Yeah, like in another realm, like in Asgard.
Yeah, and you
with
turn
the gods
around and say, "What's that?" to another one, and they go like, "Well, that's Earth. Humans on there," and you turn around and go, "I wouldn't mind being a human for a little while just to see what it's like." Yeah. Give me a little teaser, and they go, "Well,
you've obviously looked in the mirror and thought, I'd have boobs for a week.
Yeah.
See what it's like.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Just
get out of bed. Only have a pee and get something to eat.
Yeah, and then go back to bed.
Yeah, that's it. Done.
So I've lost my track of thought now. Go for it.
It's he was saying like, so you get brought back down to let's say you agree that you want to go back down there, but there's a queue for going into America, so you've got to wait a long time for that. But if you want to go to somewhere that's really poor, there's or have kids all the time, then the queue's really short. So,
right.
But you're eager to get down there, right? So you end up getting thrown down there, and you end up being a baby that's been born by a 13-year-old who's just dropped you in the bin and run away.
Yeah.
So now you've been growing up in the massive problems that you're going to have.
Yeah, you're at the bottom of the fucking queue, aren't you?
Yeah,
you're at the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah. So with all these problems, you're going to start having like addictions, and you want to feel a lot better and stuff like that. So as you're generally going up the mark, as your age is going, you're going further up to the time where you're going to die and go back to where you originally come from.
You're like reincarnation.
Your soul will leave and go back.
Well, that's
to
what
where
he's saying. There's only two ways you can leave. You can leave by building your residence up or dying.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, you are who you are until you kind of able to leave.
But there's a problem.
Is it a case of that you learn the lessons that you learn during your physical form, that you're able to kind of go off, and then after that you're only reincarnated when you've got to you've not learned those lessons, or there's still more left for you to learn when and that's why people get sent back after near-death experiences?
No, you're basically as your time's going on, you turn say 40, and you go, well, I haven't drunk enough alcohol. I want to drink enough alcohol before I go to my death's door. So you start drinking. You start getting heavy on it. Now there's a drug that's going to change your ability within the control of of your soul. So as that happens, you're bending the line for going up. So you're tilting down.
Yeah.
So then as you're tilting down back to being reborn, you'll die because you'll get ill faster. There's more chance of you having an accident because you're not concentrating more. So you die. So you go back to the cycle of the next person who lives, the next child that's born. You go back into that, and you have that cycle again.
Yeah, of course. Well, that's what reincarnation is. But I mean, it's like. I mean, I do believe in reincarnation to an extent that, in scientific or logical stance, we're all carbon.
Yeah.
We'll all revert back to something or other. But it's our soul, it's our sort of the idea of a well, it
That's
is because
question,
this is it. It's like Bryce said in his
your body
email.
Or your soul?
Well, think about it this way, right? When these victims of cardiac arrest are going into the dying, right? And we've seen this, their brains are shutting down, right?
They are.
So all these chemical reactions are going on in a brain. Right, so it could be a case of these people are hallucinating because of neurons not firing as well as they should, or the brain's just shutting down.
Yeah.
Or it could be legit. Now, the evidence of people kind of backing their out of body experiences up, or being able to astral travel, or whatever the situation is. They're the points that kind of raise questions, because you could argue and kind of easily dismiss it as a hallucination due to your brain dying.
Well, it's
but it's when you can prove it as well. I've got one more quick story before we go into the shout-outs and the end of the show. It's such an interesting topic, this, and I really hope that we can cover it again at some point. Because
definitely.
We've not even scratched the surface, really. I mean, we've gone into it as deep as we can tonight.
Yeah.
But we've got one last story. So a Reddit user shared this story, and he says his friend claimed that he was able to leave his body during his sleep and basically travel around in his spirit form. I took it with a grain of salt, and obviously, for obvious reasons, I didn't really dismiss it right off, because I knew him, and it was knew him pretty well, and he wasn't the type of person to kind of blag him or troll him, or just basically lie about it. So at the end of the night, he was hanging out at his place, and he told him, why don't you prove it to me that you can really fly as a spirit?
Sounds like
come into my room tonight.
Hey,
basically in your travelling form, right?
Yeah.
While you're asleep, and he came up with the idea that he would write a note and post it, and he would have to guess what I wrote, and he agreed.
Okay.
Yeah. So, he's basically, fast forward to the next morning, I get a call from him to tell me that he had read my note. He got it, right? So, this experience has really blown my mind. I don't know how we would be able to, have known what it said.
Yeah.
And hard for most to believe, but it really happened, and I'm 100% positive that there is no way he could have seen what I've written on that post-it.
Yeah, but magicians do stuff like that.
Well, to be fair, I mean, he went home and was able to travel. He'd wrote this after he'd gone home, right?
Right.
So he's travelled back to his house, gone to bed, then travelled back in astral form into his room, read the post-it note, and then gone home, rang him the very next morning and told him that he knew what he wrote. Right. I mean, there's loads of examples of this, and we've so I mean...
Far too many.
I mean, the fact that, even Brian earlier was saying that, when he came into, he was going blue and stuff like that, I'm assuming he could see what was going on, unless he was kind of taken straight into this void. But it kind of read to me that he was able to kind of see for, as a kind of another, see himself.
Yeah.
And there's a whole other section going into like doppelgangers and, in terms of this. And
testing for body to see if anything actually happens when the body leaves.
Exactly, yeah, because obviously they know what state this is why cardiac arrest patients are so interesting, because they know what state the brain's in when these things are happening, so they're able to kind of get a reading on these, and they're kind of interested to know whether the consciousness does leave the brain.
Do
you know what I mean? So very interesting. Thank you so much, Brian, for getting in touch. You've made for a very fucking philosophical chat tonight.
Yeah.
You were, very welcome, and thank you for getting in touch. I think we very encourage people to get in touch with their kind of encounters of any sort of kind, alien or out of body, just strange and kind of weird stuff. If you had a ghost encounter or anything like that, send us an email and we'll have a chat with you.
Yeah, we will.
Talking about people who getting involved. Had a lot of we always get a lot of shout outs.
We do.
Always love the shout outs, because the guys who get involved with the show, they make it better. Do you know what I mean? We've had a few questions this week as well. We'll start with the questions first. So basically the guys over at Killer Rabbit podcast, big fans, sent us a question. If kids are able to act in R-rated 18 movies, should they be able to watch them? So you've got kids like in It, like we were talking about, the kid out of Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
These kids are child actors, and they're being kind of put in
but
R-rated monster movies or scare movies. So should they be able to watch them? How come it's okay for them to act in them?
Because they're stupid.
Well, I thought, you know, like, is he talking about this Seth Rogen movie? Do you know, Good Boys?
Yeah.
Because in fact, I sent him the trailer of this because it was kind of interesting because he does say to the kids, he says it's fucked up because you're not really allowed to watch the trailer.
Yeah, there's a limit for a reason.
You can do the fucked up shit in the movie, but you can't do it.
You know they got a pirate copy.
You're not allowed to watch yourselves doing it.
They've watched that. I'm telling you, they've watched that.
I think it's very kind of, it's on the parents or guardian sort of terms, isn't it, really? Because I think if you...
Really.
Well, no, because at the end of the day, yeah, I mean, your kid wants to pursue acting, right? And he gets a big break in a Stephen King movie.
Yeah.
Now, look at the kid out of The Shining. Yeah. Do you think he was kind of like kept away from any of the scary stuff during the shooting of that film, or do you think they are kind
of kept away? Look at the girl in Poltergeist.
Did he go away feeling? Yeah, exactly. The girl out of Poltergeist or Exorcist.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You know
it's
what I
like
mean?
they go for life there, thinking, because when you're that young as well, is it an experience that you remember as something like a traumatic experience or something?
Of course you would. Where did this come from? I know I was acting, but they don't really know what acting is. They still think play.
Yeah, it's still play, isn't it?
Still
when you're scaring
realistic
kids,
play.
Now, as a director as well, it's like, wouldn't you want to get the best performance out of your actor? Now, if that's physically scaring them for reals, then surely that's going to get the most effective fucking, you know, most real
area,
shot.
Man, it really is a delicate area.
It is a very delicate area, and I think, you know, depending on who's directing it and how they're handling it.
Yeah.
Now, if it was back in the day, I reckon they probably use those tactics. You know, fucking really scare the kid or want a fucking absolutely realistic reaction.
Well, that's what they're mainly after, aren't they? So that's what they want. That's what they're going to do. But an adult can understand that and can take it in. But
we know it's pretend, but it's like, you know, a kid can be easily like, you know.
But for a comedy or something like
fucking hell, I was scared at Michael Jackson turning into a fucking werewolf when I was a kid. I'm going to hide on the stairs. But, I hope that answered your question. Great question, actually. Thank you. Got another question from the Unexceptional podcast. Couple of great girls. A very, very very good podcast. Yeah. What conspiracies do you wish were 100% real?
Easy.
Or 100% fact?
Easy.
Go on.
We both talked about this.
We did actually talk about this.
We agree with this together.
Yep.
Aliens.
Because I think if you could prove the alien thing, it blows a load of other conspiracies wide open.
Will open up.
So it's like it's one that kind of answers a million questions, I think, doesn't it?
Plus, if you put a bet on it, you can get like £1 million for it, you know.
What, do aliens really exist?
No, if you go to the bookies, especially in England, there are bets.
You can bet on anything in England.
You bring proof of aliens, then we will pay you £1 million.
Oh, fair enough. I didn't know that.
Right, all right then.
Well,
you've got to place a bet.
Well, I will give me shout-outs for tonight. Big shout-out to Bri, who emailed us tonight, and courtesy of his story, spawned this episode. Big shout-out to CrossPod. Big shout-out to Gareth.
Yeah, man.
A big fan of you, bruv. Yeah, keep it up. We love you. We love you getting in touch. Big shout out to Liz Reader. I think she's a podcaster as well. She's also a writer and does other stuff. She took a really lovely picture of the moon before. Nice. I'm into my photography, so it was a good photo of that. Tennish podcast. Big shout out to you guys. And a big shout out to Swoosh.
Yes.
Sleepy J in the corner.
Yeah.
Absolutely epic. Shout out to Mr. Crabtree this week for being just such a top guy and a loyal fan.
Lots of love, man.
Yeah, and you know what? It was lovely that he thought about us as well. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Big shout out to bro Dunk.
Yeah, Donkey.
Shout out to Jesse G. Yeah, and the Not So Minnesota Nice. Awaiting the return of them in the new year. Yes. Can't wait. They'll be one of our featured podcasts, no
definitely.
Doubt. Bill and Frank Eat Pop Culture. Get on them. They're really cool, really good topics. Talk about movies, comics, all sorts. Big shout out to EJ, who's working hard in the background on some stuff for us, which we'll be making an announcement about that very soon.
Yes.
Also, we've got a big shout out to Deep in History podcast, who are our featured podcast for this week, and they're running into next, I think. Yeah. So get on the website and check out their latest episode. I think it's all about shinobi. Do you know what I mean? Like the samurais, and really, really good. He goes so deep into his history stuff. He finds, as he puts it, history's top moments, or top, most historic moments he looks at.
You know what? In fact, we'd have to talk to him at one point, because I want to know what he'd think about the history, about history being played with.
Oh, you mean like not in the order that it's supposedly appeared in? This is it. This is, I think, being a historian, these are the people who'd be able to turn around and go definitively yes or no, or just don't buy into it, guys, because it's a load of bullshit. Because I've literally studied all this history, and I can tell you that it does kind of add up.
But it depends. You know what I mean? To me, it depends on where he got the info from, and if he's got counter-acting info.
Trying to see if I've missed anybody on the shout-outs. Well, I think that's it. Have you got anyone you want to shout out this week?
Big shout out to my mum.
Big shout out. Yeah. Thank you. Oh, thank you for my NASA badge.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, loved it. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Shawnee, for sending me a NASA badge, pin badge, and thank you. It was beautiful.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, cheers.
You done Swoosh, haven't you?
Yeah, big shout out to Swoosh. Shout out to Brooko.
Steve from Stockport.
Yes,
brother Gaz.
Big Steve.
Simon.
Yeah,
me left you cat.
There we go. I think that's
and
everybody.
Every other person who I haven't mentioned.
Everybody who listens as well. Yeah, everybody who makes this possible. Thank you. If you want to get over to Patreon and help us out, it is the Christmas season. You can also do a one-time donation and just throw something in our PayPal account. You can go over to the website at neverastraightanswer.co.uk and you can stick something in there for us, a bit of a Christmas bonus.
Yeah.
Alternatively, you can go to the store there. You can get T-shirts, mugs, hoodies, all types of stuff. I can't promise that they'll deliver before Christmas.
No.
But it'd be something to look forward to when it does arrive, because you'll be fashionable as fuck.
Hell yeah. You want to show it off to your neighbours, tell them you're cool.
Brian actually asked me where he could get some swag, so I was like, go to the website, man. Go to the website.
Go to the website, mate, and
plenty of
stuff there.
Also, to just go to the website, because there's loads of stuff happening. You can
get everything from
news,
there,
reviews, blog posts, latest downloadable episodes, everything. So
everything's there for
you. We're running out of time rapidly, so we're going to have to call it a night. But big thank you to everybody involved. Thanks to Brian.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to everyone. I've been Gaz.
I've been Taylor.
And you'll see us next week on another episode of Never a Straight Answer.
Turkey giblets.
Peace
out.
Oh wait, it's our 20. We're doing a Christmas show next week, so watch out for that. So if you've got any questions for us, please send them in. And we'll be asking over Twitter. And we'll catch you next time.
You will.
Peace
out.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.